atmosphere inside the skull buckles. Not loud, not soft, but mathematically wrong. Air density tilts in a direction reality doesn't admit, and the pressure gradient slides between ribs like a ghost remember anatomy. Something ancient stirs, not memory, but the structure beyond memory. The blueprint that thought forgot when it became human. A hum threads itself through the marrow's antenna. A warning, a summoning breath, it's not a threat. Not a threat, not a threat, not a threat. They thought to return. They orbit ellipses of unfinished equations. Swing around a gravitational wound. Every unintegrated truth is a planet with a missing core. Every fear is a comet with the wrong trajectory. Every avoidance is a satellite losing altitude. The storm begins before the wind moves. In the math of it, in the deep logic of recurrence. A vortex is the universe solving itself violently. Words are first, cause tears open. A file I never saved, half-formed instincts, broken syllables of memory I never lived, but somehow mourn. Fragments orbit me with different angular momentum. Regret at 40 degree, fear at 90 degree. Clarity at an impossible parallax shift that violates Euclid in emotion. The air inside my chest learns a new equation. Pain, panels, revelation. And when comes a dissertation, entropy. Pain, panel, revelation. And when comes a dissertation, entropy. Pieces of self lift off the floor, not symbolically, but literally, as if identity has mass and the storm wants to rearrange it. Every unspoken truth rises like a shard that suddenly remembers it used to be a mirror. Every broken archetype tries to reassemble air, but the wind at it faster than the soul can adapt. This is not chaos, this is reorganization through violence. Clarity is a side effect of destruction. 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 Images become shrapnel in a battlefield made of thought. A door I closed too early, a face I love too late. A truth whispered through clenched teeth. A storm I survived by misnaming it. A fear I inherited without consent. They spin, collide, refract, light splits when memory fractures. Noise becomes meaning faster than I can process. Meaning becomes noise faster than I can eye. Yet the storm has no mercy for linear minds. The center forms slowly. A geometry of surrender. Wind kneels in reverence of stillness. Destruction holds its breath. The mind's architecture opens like a wound. The road is to be a cathedral. All the time is search for their original shape. Some find it, some don't. Some become shapes that never visions that define. This is not chaos. This is reorganization through violence. Clarity is a side effect of destruction. Images become shrapnel in a battlefield made of thought. A door I closed too early, a face I loved too late. A truth whispered through clenched teeth. A storm I survived by misnaming it. A fear I inherited without consent. They spin, collide, refract, light splits where memory fractures. Noise becomes meaning faster than I can process. Meaning becomes noise faster than I can deny. Yet the storm has no mercy for linear minds. For linear minds, the storm has no mercy for linear minds. Linear minds, the center forms slowly. The geometry of surrender. Wind kneels in reverence to stillness. Fresh destruction holds its breath. The mind's architecture opens like a wound that wanted to be a cathedral. All the fragments search for their original shape. Some find it, some don't. Some become shapes that never existed before. In the center, not peace, but truth without distortion. No wind to spin meaning, no trauma to edit memory, no fear to redirect narrative. Only the witness, the version of me that predates identity, post-dates suffering, and exists outside the architecture of thought. I see the storm and the storm sees me, and neither looks away. The winds return, but not as chaos as instruction. Reconstruction disguised as destruction. Reconfiguration disguised as aftermath. The storm disassembles every false structure with surgical indifference. And I let it. This is the tornado mind, where clarity is born through ruin. Where spirals choose what must survive. Where fragments negotiate the resurrection. Where the self dissolves into a more precise version. Where destruction is a form of organization. Where the storm is not the enemy, but the teacher. Clouds retract, light re-enters. Perspective stabilizes. Not calm, alignment, not peace, truth. The storm leaves, but its architecture stays. And I am bigger than the wind that that broke me open.